Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Anatomy of Knitting, episode 82. My name is Erin, and I'm going to be your host. And Ari's going to be your co-host because I start talking and he comes over. Sweetie, why don't you go sit on the quilt? It's nice and comfy. Thank you. I've been itching anytime he touches me, which is really weird, but anyway. Sweetie, just stay right there, okay? Stay right there. I think it has something to do with his saliva. Okay? Stay right there. Stay on the quilt, please. Thank you. Right there. Okay, thank you. Okay. Oh, this cat. So, let's see. Episode 82. It is October 8th, 2015. My name is Erin, and I'm coming to you from Cork, Ireland. And, it's an overcast, not so nice day, which you can tell from the lighting. I've got not only the front window open, I've got the overhead light on, and it still is not giving me a whole heck of a lot of light. So we shall do our best. Excuse me. This week I'll talk about what's on the needles. I have another co-host. This is Lola. Hello, Lola. Let's see. This week in review, what's on the needles, and then some sewing that I've been doing as well. So let's get started. I am just full of kitty love today, aren't I? You kitties just want to be famous, don't you? You want to be put on the internet. Okay, I'm going to have you sit right here. So the week in review. It's been a bit of a okay week. We haven't done anything. Well, we did something exciting last weekend. We have been talking about making an IKEA trip for the past few weeks, and because we had gotten an IKEA catalog, and I had been working on a list of what kind of stuff we needed to get, and so I did that. And then my husband was like, "Well, why don't we just go this weekend?" So last weekend we decided to hop in the car and make the drive up to Dublin. We decided to do it all in a day. Dublin is about 2.5 hours from here, which is a bit of a trip. We have gotten the boys pretty good about being in the car, and we usually let them watch something on the iPad. Ooh, excuse me, it's only on. Time for some tea. And so they spent the entire trip up, and really the entire trip back as well, watching some Thomas that we had on the iPads. I think it was Tale of the Brave and Day of the Diesels were the two episodes, and they just watched them constantly. We got up there and had lunch because it was around noon when we got there, and they had these nice kids box lunches, which is what I got for the boys. It had half of a cheese sandwich. It had these, I don't know if you all are familiar with those like puffed carrot sticks. You can get them at Costco, I think. They're like those puffed veggie snacks. And so they had puffed carrot sticks, which Malcolm really liked. They had alphabet biscuits, which are small and circular, which I think Nathaniel really liked. And there was a lingonberry juice in there. And I think that was it. There was supposed to be a yogurt, but I think the biscuits got added and the yogurt got taken out. The boys really like yogurt, so anytime there's something that has that option, I get that for them. I had a smoked salmon wrap, and my husband had the Swedish meatballs, and so we had lunch, and they were a little fussy, and then we decided to go through the shop, which was pretty much a nightmare. I have decided that a day trip to IKEA for them is not something we should do again in the future very soon. I literally had to spend the entire time holding their hands or arms and basically kind of dragging them through the store. It was not a fun experience for them or me, I'm sure. So we didn't get everything on our list because basically I couldn't manage to read the list, work on the list. I don't even know where the list is. I think the list got trashed somewhere. We got some of the things that I could remember off the top of my head. There's this wiry type basket that I put all our oils and stuff that we keep on the counter in. I got this expanding, it's supposed to be an expanding pot lid rack. But I have managed to, there's this square cabinet above our oven that I have managed to expand that as wide as it can go for the size. And then I've put all our cookie sheets and basically the cabinet before was just all of our cookie sheets and stuff that we use in the oven, just kind of this very teetering, wobbly tower of stuff. But now I have it all arranged in line in that expandable rack, which is so much safer and so much easier to get things out. I'd certainly recommend that. I don't remember what that object is called, but it looks like it's a metal of some sort. It looks like stainless steel, but I don't know if it's stainless steel or not. And it's just one of those expandable. It's not wire, but metal racks. Let's see. I got a few baskets for. Excuse me. I'm so yawny this morning. I haven't been yawning. It's like as soon as I hit that record button, the yawns start. Anyway. I got some more scrap baskets for my sewing room. I got these kind of cup holder things that you can hang off the ends of the little aqua. I have two of those little aqua carts that IKEA does. I want to say it's the Roskog trolley. I've got one up in my sewing room and I've got one down here. The hang off cups are on the one upstairs. Let's see, anything else? So an interesting thing about living in Ireland is that graham crackers don't exist here, which it was fairly surprising because they have a lot of like biscuits and cookies and things like that. And so I thought for sure there would be some sort of graham crackery type object, but there isn't. And I had heard about these little alphabet biscuits that IKEA does. I want to say it's Kax, K-A-X. And when I was in line to get us all food, I saw a box of them, so I grabbed them, and I thought, well, it'd be a decent dessert for the boys. It's something a little sweet and not totally horrible for them. And another interesting thing that I noticed at IKEA in the dining room is that they don't serve soda anymore. It was all juice and water and milk and coffee. I'm not sure if the same thing is true back home, back in the States, because I haven't been to an IKEA we went before we moved here, so that's almost 2 years ago. Let's see. We went outside. My husband had the cart and paid for everything. The boys and I went outside. There was a little playground. Nathaniel was like so done with the experience. He just spent half the time screaming to me that he didn't want to. Yeah, I don't want to play. I want to get in the car. And I was like, honey, Daddy's paying. You're going to be sitting in the car for a long time waiting. Might as well slide down the slide. And it took maybe about 5 minutes. And then he was like, oh, there's a slide? I want to go down the slide. And then he was happy as a clam. I think they were just tired. And it really is too much to ask them to sit in a car for 2.5 hours and then go to IKEA. We thought that they'd be able to tolerate it. The previous time that we've gone to IKEA with them was when we were in Dublin. We had been in Dublin for the weekend. Oh, my dear sweetie. We'd have been in Dublin for the weekend, and we woke up and drove to IKEA. So it was around opening time, and sweetie pie. right there. Thank you. So, yeah. Let's see. What else is going on? It's been a pretty chill week. I was going to take them to the Ballin Colleague Gymnastics does a toddler, a mom and toddler group. And they were finally restarting their toddler group this week. And that was going to be on Tuesday. But unfortunately, Nathaniel woke up with a really snotty nose and some goopy eyes. And so I quickly put the kibosh on taking them there because I don't like to expose other children to illness. I'm just, I'm one of those moms. I don't like to do it. Let's see. I think that's about it. That's all the excitement. I got an appointment to get this removed, finally. This is what I think is a little basal cell carcinoma, and it's going to come off on the 16th, which is a week from tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, a week from tomorrow. So, yay. And, I think that's, I have my repeat driver's test tomorrow. This has been a whole process. This is like just a crazy part of living in Ireland. This is one of the reasons I really kind of don't like Ireland. I had a driver's test in June. I think it was around June 25th, which I did not pass because I made a stupid mistake, misjudged the situation and made a stupid mistake. So, failed. I had to retake the test. I believe it was the day after I failed that test, I got online and I said, here's my money, please give me a test date. And I waited, 3 months for a test date, which is tomorrow, the 9th of October. I got that notice about a month and a half ago. So it's been, June, July, August, September, almost 4 months I've had to wait to do this, which is, I think, for a country of this size, kind of ridiculous. Because how many people really need to get their driver's license? Although, how many people are like in my situation where they make a silly mistake and they gotta retake it? So, please think of me tomorrow in hopes that I pass. What are you gonna do? I just hope I don't make another stupid mistake. And it was like 5 minutes in. We're like, really? I had to do it 5 minutes in and then continue to take the whole 40-minute driving test. Ugh. Anyway. I have issues with this whole process. So, let's talk about some interesting, fun things. I am currently working on, this is Sweet Georgia Yarns, her superwash sock in Blue Fig. This is some very vintage yarn that I have from Sweet Georgia. Again, congratulations to her on 10 years. You'll notice that ball was not attached to anything. That's because I have one finished sock. I like to do stockinette stitch socks mainly when I knit socks. I like the yarn. I like to let the yarn be the superstar of the show. And this is my usual just vanilla sock pattern where I cast on, I believe it's 68 stitches. I do 1x1 rib for about an inch and a half, or until I get sick of it, whichever comes first. I do a cuff, and I like how the pooling happened on this side. This side is not as fun. I do a cuff for about, I think, 5 inches, maybe 6 inches or so. I do the slip stitch heel, not really because I like not because I need the durability, but just because I like the way it looks. I should do an Eye of Partridge heel next time. That one I think looks really better, much better, but I have to look up how to do it again. And then I do just the usual gusset and then knit on the foot until it fits to my foot. And then I just do the usual toe, and then I graft it. The front of the sock isn't, so the cuff is really fun on the front, but the foot is not as fun. But the foot's going to be in my shoe most of the time. So I finished these a couple of days ago. I used my Knit Picks Knit Picks 1mm needles that I think I bought this once upon a time to do that Unijang, gosh, what is it? Autumn? No. It was her first Fair Isle pullover that really was like, wow. People were like crazy excited about. And I bought the yarn and I bought the needles and I was going to make it for my mom. And I believe I even casted it on and got the corrugated ribbing done, but then put it down. Let's see. It is her... It's a gorgeous sweater, and I would love to knit it, but Autumn Rose, that's the one that she made. So, yeah, that's what the needle is from. I'm just looking at all of her gorgeous stuff. Yeah, so that's the yarn left over. There's enough for at least one square of yarn for my sock blanket, which is over there, and I haven't knit on. Whatever. It is what it is. I'd like to knit on it, but I just haven't been excited by it. I've been excited about other things. So I gotta wind the second skein so I can start the second sock. And I have this in my vegan Craftastic bag, which has got the skeletons, which is appropriate for the month, and the sugar skulls on the back. And then it's just lined with that fabric there. I don't know if she is still making bags or anything. The next thing I've been knitting on is the Acorn Trail. Yes, the Acorn Trail sweater. And again, apologies. This is what it's going to look like. There's that big splotch because somehow water got on it. Don't know how that happened. So I have a sleeve complete on this. And I have a back complete. None of these are blocked. I should block them while I'm waiting to finish the others. So, yeah, there. It's exciting. I feel like I'm kind of chugging, like really chugging through the sweater. The last sweater I did, I just felt like, oh my gosh, it took months and months and months and months and months and months and months to make. I'm sure this will be the same as well. When did I cast this one on? Let me go to my Ravelry project page. This is the Acorn Trail, and I started this on September 9th. So just about a month I've been working on it. I am using, this is Blarney Woolen Mills Donegal Tweed hand knitting wool. I got that at the in Blarney, which is about 15 minutes from my house. Fun fact, I have to go through these like really tiny roads where it's posted not suitable for heavy traffic, but heavy traffic actually goes on it. So it's quite an adventure to get there. And I am, now it's all curly because it's stockinette. I got up to the armhole shaping for the sweater, and I am currently finished with the armhole shaping, and I have to finish to where I want the neckline to start. And I'm trying to get this so I don't bang the microphone. It's got that cable. What is that cable called? I want to say horseshoe cable, but I know that is incorrect. It is called the seed wishbone cable. I don't want to dip my sleeve into my teas. Let me come from over here. So there is the seed wishbone cable there, and then there's a razor lace as well. And I'm using Wee One stitch markers. I have cupcakes, I have sheep, and I have black cats. The boys like to, when I was working on, I think the back, I had a bunch of stitch markers, and I think I was using all of the sheep ones. And the boys like to, when I'm knitting while we're having a little bit of TV time, they like to see and touch the stitch markers. Like, oh, they'll go little sheep and cupcake and kitty. So that's pretty cute. This is I finished the row that I did last night, and this is all the yarn that I had left. So it's time for me to wind another skein of yarn. I think I had 12 skeins of yarn, and I've done it out. So far I've knit, let's see, 2 for the back, and I think 2 for the sleeve and the front that I have. No, I think the front is a full skein. So let's say 2, 3, so maybe 5 skeins I've used so far for the back, a sleeve, and most of a front. I should definitely have that front finished by next week, and then like I said before, in order to break up the monotony of Sleeve Island, the way I am knitting the sweater, I did the back, a sleeve, a front. I'm going to do a sleeve and then finish with the other front. So yeah, I should block those pieces, so when I'm all done, I'll just have the one piece to block, and then I can start constructing. So you can, I believe she has directions in here. Again, so what I'm doing is I'm following sort of 2 patterns at once. There's the Acorn Trail recipe, which gives you instructions on like the ribbing and all of the cables and where the cables should go. And you have to add in some, if you're using a custom fit recipe, which is this one, you have to add in some stitches to, when you have those cable panels, it shrinks in a little bit, so you have to add in some stitches to get the gauge that you need. So this kind of gives you a bare bones pattern of the really technical stuff. And then this pattern, you create your own custom sweater. If you're gonna do this sweater, buy the recipe first. It gives you all the stuff that you need to plug into your custom fit recipe. And the custom fit recipe is basically a stockinette stitch cardigan sweater that's using all of the specifications that you've learned from the recipe. So like what kind of ribbing you want, how big you want, or how long you want the ribbing, what kind of neck you want, I think the depth of the neck, what other things are there? Let's see, I think it even tells you what options you can have. Average fit, so the type of fit that you want, the style, i.e. cardigan, pullover, whatever. The length, the sleeves, or like the sleeve length, so if you want 3/4 inch, bracelet length, short sleeves, the neck style, the neck depth, and then the hem edging, sleeve edging, neck edging, and then button band edgings. So those are all the kinds of things that you could choose, and you get all of those options from this recipe. So it's a little challenging to follow 2 patterns at once, but I've got the hang of it now. You just have to make sure that you read everything for the, so like right now the right front, well, I'll just show you, like, here's the instructions for the left front from the recipe. So you read all of that first, and then the left front, we'll just pretend this is the right front, but it's about the same amount of instructions. So it goes from here to there. So there, and then that is all of the instructions that you have for the front. So you just kind of have to read both sections before you start, just to make sure that you're not going to miss anything, which I think I did, and I had to rip back. I had to do that for the sleeve, which I think I told you all about, because the instructions start to tell you to start your shaping for the sleeve, because it's knit from the bottom up, so you increase stitches. It tells you to start increasing your sleeve like 3 and something inches from cast on, but you're supposed to go to 5 inches for the cuff. And so I had the entire cuff knit, and then I read that, and then I was like, well, shoot, now I got to take out 2 inches of twisted rib. Although twisted rib in the round is not as bad as twisted rib in knit flat. That would have been much more painful. I've had to do actually a lot more ripping out of the sweater than I usually do. And I think that in part is due to having the 2 patterns, but it's not hard. You just got to read. And the fact is most of the time, the reason is because I don't read or I forget. So it's my fault, not the pattern's fault. And I'm carrying this around in my tote bag that I got from the Modern Irish Quilters tote swap. I'm not showing you the pretty side. It's got tons of pockets. Took this to France with us when we went to Disneyland, so there might be a little dirt on the bottom, but that shows that it's well used and well loved. Let's see, anything else to say about that? I don't think so. I might just start winding this while I'm talking to you, because it's something I can do. Let's see. So, sewing wise, it's been a fairly productive sewing week. Again, for those of you that are new, I am currently working on Halloween costumes. I have 2 twin boys. Two twin boys is a little redundant. I have twin boys. And the reason I learned how to sew was because I wanted to make Halloween costumes for all of us, because I just think I love Halloween. B, I don't like the cheap options that you can find in, and when I say cheap, I mean like not quality, not high quality outfits that you get at the Halloween stores. So I wanted, more option. Like if you wanted to be this really obscure character or something, it would be easy to find. And I'm not into like the sexy characters, like a lot of the options for women are sexy policeman and sexy Dorothy, and anyway, I could go off on that, but that's not what this podcast is about. So I taught myself how to sew. The Halloween costumes that we've done, I should see if I can put pictures here. Let me just do this so I remember pictures. So when the boys were born, I was breastfeeding them, and it's fun to well, I won't say it's fun, but it passes the time searching on Pinterest while you're breastfeeding twins in the middle of the night. That really helped. And so when they were a couple of months old, I think I was like, well, I have two boys and a daddy, and what are some costumes that the 4 of us can do that's 1 girl and 3 boys? And so the first year, I came up with The Wizard of Oz. And surprisingly, it coincided with, I want to say, the 60th anniversary of the movie. So that's what we did. I was Dorothy. I have a pair of ruby slippers. They're super awesome. And let's see. My husband was the Cowardly Lion. Nathaniel was the Tin Man, and Malcolm was the Scarecrow. And we ended up not doing we didn't go trick-or-treating that year. I don't exactly remember why. Probably because they were 10 months old, so they were still going to bed pretty early at that point. What else? And then we did a we were part of the Seattle Family of Multiples group, and they do a Halloween party. So we went to that, and those were the things that we did with the boys. I still have my costume, and so does well, we all still have all of our costumes. So I can be Dorothy again in the future. And then last year, I thought it would be super cute to have two little sheep running around because I knew that they would be toddlers and they would be running around. So I made them, they were sheep and my husband and I were shepherds. So that was pretty cute. We ended up being in the States for Halloween last year. That's just the kind of the way our visit happened. So I ended up bringing our Halloween costumes with us after I made them, because I made them here in Ireland. So that was fun, and the boys really enjoyed going trick-or-treating. It wasn't scary at all. The neighborhood that my family lives in is pretty subdued, and they don't get a lot of kids, but they get some, so that was good. And then this year we are doing the boys are going to be Mario and Luigi. I'm going to be Princess Peach, and my husband is going to be Bowser. I have finished my costume, and keep in mind I hadn't started any of these costumes until maybe about September 28th. So it was pretty late because I like to stay ahead of the game. I think last year I had my Halloween costume done by June, just because I knew I had a lot of stuff to make, and so I wanted to get it done by June. But this year I've been working on Christmas presents over the summer, so I haven't been working on our Halloween costumes. So I got my Halloween costume done, and I have ordered a crown and an amulet, Princess Peach's amulet, that she wears on her front, from a seller in the UK, off of Etsy. And I'm just waiting for that to arrive. It should take about 2 weeks for it to be made, because it's going to be 3D printed and painted for me. So I'm excited about seeing that. And then I am currently working on my husband's costume right now. Again, he's going to be, sorry about that, he's going to be Bowser. He gets to wear a fleece, a fleece costume. It's a good thing it's chilly nowadays, because he's going to be wearing a head-to-toe fleece costume. I have made the front of his bodysuit. It's kind of this kind of goldeny yellow. I don't really have anything in front of me that's similar in color. It's like a gold. It's not quite school bus gold-ish. It's a little bit more yellow, but he's going to be yellow, and then he's got a white stomach that's got lines quilted on it, like a turtle, because Bowser's kind of a combination between like a dragon and a turtle, it seems. So yeah, I finished that, and then he needed a tail. Bowser has a tail, so I had to hand draft the tail that I was going to make, and I will put a picture here in this section of the tail. Me standing not very attractively at the mirror, holding it up behind me so my husband could see it. What I did was I kind of drew the tail shape that I wanted. I knew that I wanted like a seam on the top of the tail where I could sew spikes in, and a seam on the bottom of the tail, because then the tail could be it would be sewn together like flat like that, so I could insert it in this back seam of his costume. So I have to do that today, hopefully. Sew his tail in, and then sew the bodysuit together. Let's see, and then I'll have to construct the shell and make the spikes for the shell, like his turtle shell that he'll be wearing. And then, what else will I have to construct? Do his headdress. I feel like it's only the 8th of October, so I have, let's see, 3 more weeks. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot with his costume. And then the boys' costumes are going to be fairly easy. I just have to make overalls and then hats for them. So I feel like I'm in a decent spot. So I'm using for my husband's costume. I found it on Pinterest. Let's see if I can link to it. It was not an adult costume that I found, an adult Bowser costume. I found a child's Bowser costume that I'm using the techniques that the mom used to make the little boy's costume, just to make my husband's costume. So let me scroll down. See if I can find it. Yep. The website that I found is Visible Blue, VISIBLE BLUE, visibleblue.wordpress.com. And she's got some links to tags that she has on the right-hand side of her page, and one of them is Bowser. So just click on that, and you'll see the costume for the little boy that got made. And that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. So I think once I get the bodysuit done, which I may be able to do today, I think I'll be a little less than halfway done. We'll just have to see. It's I'm a little nervous, I'll say, to try and get everything done, but we'll get it done. It's not optional. And I have, let's see. So there's 5 Thursdays in October. And just FYI, because there's 5 Thursdays in October, one of these Thursdays I won't be recording a podcast. Just with the way my storage is used, I use 400, I think it's 400 megs a month. And so I try and record 4 podcasts a month. And that way the files are 100 megs a piece. So I'm going to say probably that last Thursday before Halloween is the Thursday I won't be recording. So just FYI. So yeah, Visible Blue has that awesome Bowser costume, and so that's what's been going on. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I did a couple of Modern Irish bee blocks. Stupidly, I've already packaged them up for shipping out today, and so I can't show you those. So I think that's it. I want to thank you all for watching and for watching me wind this ball of yarn. I told you about the podcast recording schedule. Come join the podcast group on Ravelry. I post the episodes via a YouTube link there. I also post the episode on our website, which is theanatomyofknitting.com. If you're interested in following me on social media, I'm KnittingRN on Ravelry. I am EKSRN2002 on Instagram, and I'm fairly active on Instagram, especially my sewing adventures. I post those a fair amount. I've also joined Periscope, and I'm not exactly sure. I did that mainly just to get my username, which is KnittingRN. I'm not really sure if people would be interested in seeing live broadcasts on Periscope. I do have to keep in mind that I am 8 hours ahead of y'all on the Pacific Coast, so 5 hours ahead for those on the East Coast of the States. So if anything would happen, it would be probably A, on Thursdays, or B, on during nap time. And nap time here is between 2 and 4:30. So we'd have to figure out the maths for that. And the time change is coming up fairly soon, I think. Maybe it's in November. I thought it was fairly soon, like in a couple of weeks. which then will be, there's a few weeks where we'll only be 7 hours ahead of the Pacific Coast and 4 hours ahead of the East Coast. Let's see, what else? I am also a Craftsy affiliate, so if you are going to purchase classes or any fabric or kits from Craftsy, please take a moment and go to theanatomyofknitting.com and just click on the ad that I have on the right hand side of the page, which is that side. And that they just use tracking to find out where people come from. And if you click on that and then you purchase something, Craftsy just gives me a little something to help defray the costs of the podcast. So it's an easy way to not have to spend any more money than you were planning on spending anyway to support the podcast. And let's see, anything else? I think I've told you everything, all the places you can find me. If you have any questions, please post them in the Ravelry group. And thank you for watching, and I shall see you all next week. Bye.